Okay, time to get into another subclass. So if you go to the Order of Desolation Facebook group, you can start engaging in Facebook group for this stuff and everything. So as I adjust my iPad and everything. So this one is made by a guy, Dungeon Dan Craddock. So he's one of the members in like the Order of Desolation. So this one's a monk using the 2014 revised 5th edition for the monk. So monks are united in their ability to magically harness the energy that flows in their bodies. Whether channeled as a striking display of combat prowess or a subtler force of defensive ability and speed, this energy infuses all that a monk does. You must have a dexterity score and a wisdom score of 13 or higher in order to multi-class in or out of this class. So now what it does is also gives like a, I'm kind of working off my phone, so like gives like a nice good old like a class table for this. So like working all the way from like left to right with the goes from typical first to level 20. So like your proficiency bonus starts off at +2. At 5th level it goes up to +3. 9th it goes up to +4. 13th it goes up to +5, and then 17th it goes up to +6. So now martial arts, that's pretty much like damage and stuff. So like you start off at like a 1d4, and then like going all the way down. All as you level up, you get up to level 17. Now it's 44. So now Kai points is the same kind of like flow. You start off with 1 Kai point, and then by the time you up at level 20, you get 20 points. So then you get an additional unarmored move. So like starting at 2nd level, you get like an extra +10 feet. So at 18th level, it's up to +30 feet. So then like going right down the list of like pretty much like on this table and everything, all the abilities, like our features, starting with level 1, unarmored defense, martial arts, and Kai. Then we go to unarmored movement and honorable weapon. Then we go to monastic tradition feature, deflect missiles, ability score improvement, slow fall, Kai healing, extra attack, stun and strike, Kai empowered strikes, monastic tradition feature, evasion, stillness of mind, ability score improvement, unarmored movement improvement, purity of body, monastic tradition feature, ability score improvement, tongue of the sun and moon, diamond soul, timeless body, ability score improvement, monastic tradition feature, empty body, ability score improvement, and then at level 20 you get perfect self. So then like it gets into like the class features. So like for instance, as a monk you gain the following class features. For hit points you get for hit dice 1d10 per monk level. Hit points, it's at first level 10 plus your constitution modifier. Then at hit points at higher levels you roll like a 1d10 or 6, so like so you have a minimum of 6, so that way it gives you like a little extra bump up in hit points to help you survive at higher levels. Then plus your constitution modifier per level. So your proficiencies, you don't have any in armor. Weapons, simple weapons and short swords. Tools, you choose one type of artisan's tools or one musical instrument. Saving throws, the saving throws you get bonuses to, strength and dexterity. So with skills, you can choose 2 from acrobatics, athletics, history, insight, religion, and stealth. And then with equipment, you can start with like a fallen in addition to the equipment granted by your background. So the backgrounds are sort of like an outlander, like an artisan, or like a scholar, or something that you would pick in character creation. So you have like a short sword or simple weapon, and with A is a short sword, a Dungeoneer's pack, or B is any simple weapon, and an explorer's pack, 10 darts. So unarmored defense, like a first level monk class feature. So now we get into like the actual details of like the stuff. So unarmored defense. Well, you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield, your AC equals 11 plus your dexterity or strength modifier, your choice, plus half your proficiency bonus, rounded down. Martial arts. Your practice of martial arts gives you mastery of combat styles that use unarmed strikes and monk weapons, which are short swords and any simple melee weapons that don't have the two-handed or heavy property. You gain the following benefits while you are unarmed or wielding only monk weapons, and you aren't wearing armor or wielding a shield. You can use dexterity instead of strength for the attack and damage rolls of your unarmed strikes and monk weapons. You can roll a d4 in place of the normal damage of your unarmed strike or monk weapon. This die changes as you gain monk levels, as I just described before in like the going down the levels. Okay, so that's on the martial column of the monk table. And then when you use the attack action with an unarmed strike or a monk weapon on your turn, you can make one armed strike as a bonus action. For example, if you take the attack action and attack with a quarterstaff, you can also make an unarmed strike as a bonus action, assuming you haven't already taken a bonus action this turn. And then certain monasteries use specialized forms of the monk weapons. For example, you might use a club that is two lengths of wood connected by a short chain, called a nunchaku, or a sickle with a shorter, straighter blade, called the kama. Whatever name you use for a monk weapon, you can use the game statistics provided for the weapon on the weapons page. Now we get into describing Kai, Ki. Also, you gain a pool of 1 Kai point at first level. Regain all points on a short or long rest. At first level, you can spend focus to use the following. Flurry of... I almost said furry, but it's flurry of blows immediately after you take the attack action. Spend 1 Kai point to make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action. Patient defense, spend 1 Kai point to take the dodge action as a bonus action. Step of the wind. Yeah, there we go. As my nose is kind of getting a little stuffy. Step of the wind, spend 1 Kai point to dash or disengage as a bonus action. Your jump distance is doubled. At second level and beyond, your pool equals 2 plus your monk level. So in an unarmored movement, second level. Starting at second level, your spell increases by 10 feet while you're not wearing armor or wielding a shield. This bonus increases when you reach certain monk levels as shown in the table, and I went over that. At 9th level, you gain the ability to move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on your turn without falling during the move. So basically, you're pulling a Jesus and walking on water and everything. So, honor roll weapon, you train yourself to use a variety of simple melee weapons only. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you can touch one simple weapon as an action, putting your Kai upon it. It then counts as a +1 magical weapon until you take another short or long rest. Monastic tradition. When you reach 3rd level, you commit yourself to a monastic tradition, the way of the open hand, the way of shadow, or the way of the 4 elements. All are detailed at the end of the class description. Your tradition grants you features at 3rd level and again at 6th, 11th, and 17th level, like I explained before. So Deflect missiles is 3rd level monk class. So you can use your reaction to deflect or catch the missile while you are hit by a ranged weapon. A weapon attack. When you do so, the damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your monk level. If you reduce the damage to 0, you can catch the missile if it was small enough for you to hold in one hand, and you have at least one hand free. If you catch the missile this way, you can spend 1 Kai point to make a ranged attack with a range of 20/60 using the weapon or piece of ammunition you just got. As part of the same reaction, you make this attack with proficiency regardless of your own weapon proficiencies, and the missile counts as a simple weapon for the attack. Then your ability score increases at 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th level. You get slow fall at the 4th level, so I'm going to quickly, for the sake of time, go through this. So you get and for like reference, if you want to get like this class and everything, like I said, jump into the Order of Desolation Facebook group and like, hey, look, I just saw this video on like the subclass for the monk and everything. How do I get this so I can run it in my campaign and everything, or like I want to play this character and everything. My DM said, hey, let's check it out and everything. Go into the Order of Desolation and like I'm sure like good old Dungeon Dan will be able to give you the stuff and everything. So this is where I'm pulling it. So now getting going through the rest of them pretty quickly because like for the sake of time, so I'm not sitting here rambling on for like 40 or 50 minutes just talking about a class and its abilities. So it talks about Kai healing. Then at 5th level, it talks about the extra attack, a stun and strike. At 6th level, it talks about like the Kai and power strikes. And then 7th is the evasion. It talks about stillness of mind. At 10th level, it talks of purity of body. 13th level, tongue of the sun and moon. A diamond soul at 14th level. Timeless body at 15th level. Empty body at 18th level. And then it talks about the perfect self at 20th level. And so that's pretty much like an overview of like the character class. So like I'm gonna hold up like a good old 7 or 7 pages, and like so like I got like a good old PDF and everything. So you can see how it kind of long it is with that. So again, I'm kind of pulling this from a friend in the Order of Desolation Facebook group and everything. So again, if you want to like get subclasses like this and everything, definitely go over there, jump in the Facebook group and everything. So this is where like social media does come in handy, is you can find a lot of good decent information to increase your game. So now I'm kind of like going off on a tangent to finish this video up. So I have been and probably will continue to be a firm believer that like the only thing you necessarily need to play is player's handbook. Of course, like as you can see like behind me, you can see some of my books and everything. So like I got quite a lot of them and everything that I've gone over before. Now, having said that, you pretty much only need the player's handbook to be able to play. As a DM, I do recommend you getting the Dungeon Master Guide and the Monster Manual as a DM, so that way it does take a lot of the legwork out for you as a DM. Now you can get like a lot of the optional books that I've gone over through, like the adventure books and like supplemental rule books, like Xanathar's Guide to Everything, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, and like Volo's Guide. There's like a ton of other, and like there's like source books for campaign settings like the Forgotten Realms and like the Greyhawk, Dragonlance. So those, I am a firm believer that they aren't necessary, but they do come in handy if you're looking for something like to supplement like the 3 core rule books of the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master Guide, and the Monster Manual. But with going over this class, with you can getting back to me saying that you only need the Player's Handbook. If you go into groups like the Order of Desolation and ask like, hey, look, I'm looking for like ways to improve my game. I'm looking for like ideas for subclasses. I'm looking for ideas for monsters, magical items. Going into Facebook groups and asking for like ideas and stuff, it's totally free. So that way, like I said, you just need the Player's Handbook and everything. So, well, excuse me. And anyway, that's kind of like the finish of this video, since the showcase like, hey, here's this subclass for the monk that you can use. And again, you just need the Player's Handbook with stuff like this. So get into like the Facebook groups like the Order of Desolation that I mentioned, and get stuff like this pretty much for free to be able to increase the kind of content that you can use for your campaigns.